Welcome to Students in the Studio. I'm John Watson, and today our guest is the Brass Boys. Hey, thanks for being here, everyone.
Thank you.
Our pleasure for having us.
All right, so we can pretend like it's our first day in school and introduce ourselves. We can start with names, your instrument, and maybe your major, or whatever you teach. Yeah, we can start with you.
Dennis Gamble, trumpet. I'm the music education coordinator here at IU South Bend on the faculty.
I'm Chris Lewis. I play trumpet, and I'm a trumpet performance major.
I'm Donavin Donihue. I play trombone, and I am a Bachelor of Arts major.
I'm Robert Compton. I just graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in French horn performance, and I'm the French horn player.
I'm Spencer Berg. I play tuba, and I'm a music ed major.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thank you again for all being here. So let's start with the ensemble now. How did you guys come together and start performing?
Well,
Yeah, anyone can go for it.
yeah, so a few years ago, I brought up the idea of a brass quintet to Dennis, and we started to get a few members, but we struggled to find a tubist or a tuba player, and so we just kind of scrapped the idea. And then as time went on, we met Spencer and Chris, and they both were interested in doing it, so we just decided to go for it, and here we are.
Awesome. Cool.
We kind of picked from the people that were in the concert band, kind of asked around, and that's kind of how we found Chris, who was the original trombone player. And then he ended up going to the Army Reserves or something. So then we were lucky enough to have Donavin be able to fill in.
Awesome.
So yeah,
Nice. So how long has this been the lineup for the ensemble?
I'd say since the beginning of the year.
Yeah, solid
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, because I had a recital in January, and that was just shortly after Donavin joined us. I mean, that was relatively new music for him. So yeah, filled in. It's pretty seamless.
Yeah. Nice. So I've heard you guys plenty of times, and I was just wondering, how do you choose the pieces you play?
Everything we started out doing what really standard brass quintet literature, things that were that Chris applying for grad schools. We looked and saw what was asked for in those things. We wanted to pick high end stuff and really challenge ourselves to play tough things. And we started there and just kept doing a lot of listening. Went and saw the Canadian Brass in concert last year and got inspired to do some of their kind of style of music as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's cool.
A big source of, I think, where we pick our music from is just stuff that we like to hear, stuff we like to listen to. So like there's the academic standards, the stuff that's like the college level stuff that's really meant to push you educationally. And, some of the stuff is nice to listen to. Some of it is like, okay, but, so we do touch on that stuff, and we've, performed a couple different of those standards. But then there's also just like Dennis mentioned, the Canadian Brass rep. But then a lot of it was, I'm speaking a lot on this because I feel like I've provided a lot of music for us. So
definitely you have.
Yes.
So yeah, no, it was a lot of just like listening to YouTube, and I was like, oh, that sounds cool. Let's see if I can buy that from somebody or whatever. And you end up stumbling on an arranger who's just like, this is what they do, and they churn out some good stuff. So then you listen to more of their stuff, and you're like, oh, okay, and so we tend to get a library on that, and then it gets very diverse from we got some Latin stuff, we've got some blues, some jazz, some more of the chamber ensemble type stuff. I mean, we've got a big enough library put together now that we can actually have a full concert of just chamber music, a full concert of just what we call the fun stuff, the blues, the jazz,
Right.
and so that's really cool. That's one of the biggest things I love about this type of music, quintet music.
We have quite a few Christmas tunes. We could play.
Yeah.
We played an hour Christmas concert at the mall last year.
Twice at the mall.
And that was,
That was real fun.
I didn't know about that. I would have checked that out.
We played for tips.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't go then. So you have a great diverse catalog there. And I know a lot of everyone is taking like music theory and composition. Has there been any like originals you guys ever played around with?
As a matter of fact, Chris
Oh man, I
and
feel like
Donavin as well. Both of you guys have done that.
yeah. I've actually so we actually commissioned my very first piece I ever wrote. So I was studying with Dr. Jorge Muniz, and he really helped me put something together that I started, back in my first undergrad attempt, and it came along well enough, and we were able to commission it this past April, and it was really, I feel like it came together quite nice. It was well received, and then Donavin.
So mine I started taking lessons also with Jorge last semester. I started with last fall, I read a book called Kafka on the Shore by Japanese author Haruki Murakami. And I wanted that to kind of be the inspiration for my first piece, just taking like the emotions I felt reading it, all the images I had in my head, and just transferring it to music.
That's really cool. I'll be taking some lessons with Jorge Muniz next semester. So
You're in for a treat, man. It's really good stuff.
yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then so like after we commissioned this piece, like it was just kind of like the floodgates opened, and I immediately started writing like this Western piece for the quintet, which I don't listen to Western music, I was like, but I don't think there's a lot of rep out there for the quintet in that genre. But then there was like, I got this other inspiration for a second line suite sort of thing. So there's like four pieces that'll be in this suite that takes inspiration from the second line brass bands that you find in New Orleans. So yeah, it's real cool. It's coming along.
Big like melting pot.
Yeah, and I just finished the first of the four pieces too. So
awesome.
Yeah,
Those are a lot of fun. You play what's written the first time, and the second time you improvise on it.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great challenge.
Yeah. Oh well, speaking of that, have you like changed things a little bit, or just have a new arrangement with your piece, or you just try to have a section where you improvise and try to
Are you talking about my piece that I wrote, or just in general the music that we play?
both? Let's say
Okay.
both.
Well, so when I'm writing, I like feedback.
Right.
So I think I changed the key signature at one point just because there was a part in the piece that I wrote that I really wanted the French horn to be able to just like shine, and kind of like come out over the other instrumentalists. And he was like, yeah, it's just not in that right tessitura that I'm able to do that. So, and that was great feedback, because it really did add to that section. So feedback is always welcome. I'm always like, please let me know, So yeah.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. And I know with playing, there's a lot of improvised moments in it too. I was wondering, like, does it ever come back to what you already know, or does it always change while you're performing? As like the audience don't know, like what you've already played backstage or something, So does it change in the moment, or is it?
I'd say
Well, we rehearsed.
Give away secrets, but
No, I mean, initially we take these pieces and we rehearse them to be as tight as possible.
Okay.
Playing together, balance, blend, attacks, releases, all those things together to be a tight ensemble.
Yeah.
But as things go on, for instance, I lost the piece, the Latin piece, so we're going to end everything.
oh yeah, Tango for Jam or Amparita Roca.
Amparita Roca.
Yeah.
As soon as we played one concert in Newport where the tempo just went nuts.
Yeah, I got a little ambitious with the count off there,
and that produced a different product, and it was a whole lot of fun to do those challenges. Everyone emotes within their parts, but fundamentally we're trying to play as an ensemble and then make music out of that.
Cool.
I think to go off of that, the most important thing that we do in our rehearsal is to make sure that we know the music well enough that no matter what happens in a concert, we can always like make I'm stumbling here. We can always make a great performance out of it.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned Laporte. I was wondering, how often do you guys play outside of IUSB?
As often as we can.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
There's
Okay.
a Catholic church on the west side of South Bend we played at. A couple times in Laporte, University Park Mall. You know, any place we can find. You know, playing in church.
Convocation.
Convocation, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Playing in churches is great for brass ensembles because you know the acoustics you get in big churches,
Yeah.
especially the one in South Bend.
Yeah.
Just nothing like you know, like Gabrielli in the 15th century. You know, would write things for antiphonal brass in big churches, and just that sound and that being enveloped in that.
Yeah, it really carries. Yeah. Sounds great. How do you go about getting other places to perform? Going to other places to perform?
A lot of things
Emails.
kind of fall in our laps.
A lot of emails. We send out so many.
A lot of networking out
Yeah,
there because you
networking
can't really email without knowing
Right,
the people.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of it is we're students here, so we have connections with other students. We have connections with community members. So you know, like Dylan, he was a student here. So Robert set us up with our first gig there, and it was just kind of. He liked it and had us come back, you know. But then, like Holy Cross for me, I work full time, and one of my bosses is the husband of the music director that's over there. So it's a lot of networking.
Okay, yeah. Well, speaking of Dylan, give a shout out for the theme music. Thank you. And the opportunities. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So it is cool that you know someone who knows someone and just going that way. Yeah.
That's kind of the way of the world with being a professional musician.
That's true. Yeah.
Is you don't just, hey, I've got a degree, pay me.
Yeah.
You have to make a name for yourself, and you show that you're dependable, reliable, and consistent.
Okay. Cool.
And churning out stuff people like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than the piano classes that we all have to take, is there any other instruments that you play other than what you're going to be playing tonight?
Say no.
Not really,
No?
no.
Okay. So just focusing on the instrument. Okay.
I've dabbled with guitar a little bit.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I play it.
Oh, well, I was going to have a follow-up just wondering if that helps you improve with your instrument, but
Before I've only been full time here for a year now. Before that, I was an adjunct, but before that, I was a high school band director for 35 years.
oh, okay.
So I dabbled in many different instruments.
Yeah.
I learned to pick up a trombone or a clarinet whenever I needed to. I mean, that's to play to demonstrate things for kids.
Right. Yeah. You seem like you would have to have knowledge in that too if you want to help them be the best they can be.
Yeah.
At least know what's going on.
But as for making money at it, no way.
Yeah. It's like no one's out there playing the kazoo or in the triangle.
Cowbell.
Yeah, I would say nothing wrong with a triangle.
That's right.
All right. Well, I can end it on the last question.
Sure.
Okay. So are there any advice that you would give to anyone who's trying to build an ensemble?
Work with people you like.
Okay. Yeah, that's good advice.
I would say just like as far as Quintet specifically, I mean, you just have to be around enough musicians to make it happen, but you also have to be around enough musicians that are relatively similar with skill set. It's like if you get somebody that's just started or whatever, and like you got somebody else who's like trying to play college rep, like it's tough. So I mean,
you want to give someone a shot, but it's like,
yeah, exactly.
you got to see how it works out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to come to rehearsal prepared.
Yeah. Okay. I guess, take it seriously. Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Sure.
realize that there's like 4 other people that are depending on you.
Yeah.
Counting on you.
Very true.
I think it's important to be brave too.
Okay.
Put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to
Yeah.
take a few no's, you know? You say, hey, can I perform at this venue or whatever? And they're like, no, we're not interested. And you say, okay, thanks for your time. And you move on.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been in those situations too, where you just
Yeah.
have to handle rejection and just, you know,
Yeah,
keep moving.
it's part of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Right. Well, on that note, is there any last words or anything like to promote? Any shows coming
Yeah,
up?
we got a whole schedule here. So this Saturday we'll be at Art Beat at 4:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that'll be after this airs, but that's okay. And then in October we've got 2 gigs coming up. One was the
11th.
The 11th.
That would be that's in Plymouth, at the
Heartland
Art Gallery in downtown Plymouth,
What time?
7.
7 p.m.
So,
Nice.
and then we'll be at Holy Cross on October 26th, I believe, at 7. And then we have First United Methodist gig in LaPorte on November 16th at 7. And then we're hoping to sign up for sometimes at the University Park Mall.
Yeah.
Those signups aren't available yet, but
Okay.
last year we performed during Black Friday. It was awesome. It was a great experience. I feel like for everybody,
Yeah.
because there was tons of people there.
Yeah.
Tons of people
Yeah.
actually stopped and just listened, like put their holiday shopping on hold just to like listen to
Yeah.
us for a few minutes. And we had our little, I don't know, second and a half of glory on the news.
Oh, okay, cool.
they,
awesome.
they shot us and then it was gone. That's us.
Got it recorded and like find it somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Yeah. So I think that's what we have going on.
Right on. Well, it's a big list, but everyone can check out the Instagram, Facebook. We'll post everything there. You guys check it out. And thanks again for being here in this hot basement. I don't know if you can see it, but I am sweating. But now to end the episode, performance from the Brass Boys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
This has been Students in the Studio. If you'd like to be a guest, please send an email at newanalogstudio@gmail.com or just message me, your classmate, John Watson. Our theme music was written by Dylan Baja. For future performances, check out our info on Facebook or Instagram. Thank you for watching and listening.